Amnian Nights, episode 11. Monkey recaps.
So, there was a session, and we got sent on a mission to take out a Yeti. We started off in the Adventurers Guild. We spotted Magira was potentially eyeing up a mission, intercepted her, and grabbed that mission for ourselves. Up in Riversmoot in the cold north, there was someone called Vonim who we should speak to assist her in taking out a Yeti for the guild. So we were magicked our way up there by Magira. Borrowed some furs from the bar woman. I also left my smith's tools with her as a deposit for a bear trap that she loaned me. Had a quick chat with Vonim, who had been somewhat savaged and turned out to be a pacifist, which was interesting. I saw a giant naked Loxodon in a bathhouse, and Sire did some tattooing of herself. Then we trekked for a day north, found a giant dragon skeleton, which seemed to be the place of worship for some people, perhaps mostly goblins, I think including goblins at the very least. Then on watch, some wolves appeared, and a scary hyena monster appeared, which seemed to be under Atticus's command. The wolves were then set upon by a giant ice toad. We murdered the ice toad before it had a chance to even say hello. And then there was a bit of a back and forth between Sire and Atticus, as Sire revealed she was in fact sent here to come with me, not just coming with me for funsies, but because our father wants her to keep an eye on me. That bitch.
Yeah, as a reminder, I forgot to say at the start, no Luca Lock the next couple of weeks. She is international traveling. Also, from reading the notes, I wasn't sure. I read Gigi's recap of the session. I wasn't sure if she thought that Loxodon actually had two trunks, or if she didn't quite pick up on the narrative innuendo of my description. Because I remember her notes made multiple reference to a twin-trunked Loxodon. Spoiler, Gigi, one of them was his Willy.
Wow, do I feel foolish. Why not go for a cool double trunked Loxodon? I thought that was really cool aesthetic choice. But okay, I was like, ooh, double the ale. Like, that was a cool visual I had in my head. Not anymore.
Okay, he's triple trunked then. We'll say he has two trunks. Excellent, yeah. So Atticus, if you don't already have it, give yourself Inspirazione. And yeah, we pick up exactly where we were in the midst of, or the immediate aftermath of, the ongoing argument. Seeing it's just loading for me. So yeah, harsh words between Atticus and Sire. The toad has been dragged off the thin ice, and this is where you find yourselves.
So Atticus would definitely, to outsiders, look energized by this, having just had some combat, and he's all like, what do you think of this toad thing? I mean, it just had a belly full of wolves, and I'm not even sure it was going to attack us because we killed it before it even had a chance. So maybe it wasn't aggressive, but who knows? Maybe we'll get some good stuff out of it. And whilst he's saying this, he's like laying into it with dagger and stuff, trying to carve some bits off it. And he's going to continue. Do you think it's like edible? And he's going to cut off a bit of meat and toss it to Obsidian and be like, Obsidian, eat that for me.
That's quite a mood you have found yourself in.
I feel good. We're gonna do this thing. By the way, how many Didn't someone say there was not just a Yeti, but also ogres? How many
Yes.
ogres should we be worried about?
Bonim, do you have the numbers? I'll hear you.
I've seen at least 4. Sorry, my voice caught in my throat for a moment there. The cold. No, wait, I don't feel the cold. The nerves of the combat.
Cold.
Good to know. Good to know. Ogres. Terrible brutes. And while we're at it, obviously we'll be splitting the reward for this mission with you since we're helping. But what was the promised reward for this? I'm not sure we ever discussed.
It was 500 gold was the posted fee. I believe River's Moot banded together for it.
Okay. And you said you split up from your band. They turned to crime or something, right?
Yes, they decided, but taking the reward and not doing the work was a quicker means of making a comfortable life for themselves.
And then you went off by yourself to find the Yeti?
I tried to finish the job, yes. We will come upon their camp by sort of mid-morning, so we should be wary, in case they haven't moved on.
If your injury was that the Yeti?
Yes.
What exactly do you plan on doing to the Yeti?
One of the ogres. Well, I was hoping to immobilize it. I have a means to stun and disable, and I had a sled. I was hoping to drag it back to town. Alive, but restrained. It was
interesting.
Obviously an overly ambitious idea.
He's just going to carry on setting about dismembering the toad.
Yeah, make me a medicine check. Yeah, maybe swapping away from your greatsword would have been a good idea, but yeah, you fix on trying to remove some of these icy protrusions, but seem to either just shatter or split each one. As you try to harvest organs or a portion of the skin, you find it to be unbelievably taut, and even attempting to make incisions to start cutting off, an area just causes rips and tears to just suddenly lattice across the hide. The inside of a creature seems to be just packed densely with a putrid, snowy rime that just stinks and oozes out. There is very, very little to be found that is useful in this creature, or you're just not going about it the right way.
Would you like to try together next time?
Feel free to help out, buddy. I know that you like to hunt big game, right? So.
All right. I'll give it a try. Very little left here.
Did he eat the piece of meat that I gave him?
No. Not this time.
As Vaneem sort of takes herself off and sits down next to the fire, more out of habit than anything. What's Siri up to?
Celia has moved herself to the other side of the fire and is keeping a very stern, very focused gaze to the tree line. But before that, where's the hyena?
It's
Just
gone.
so far-
It
it's
sort
gone.
of collapsed in on itself on a weird little implosion of flame and smoke and vanished.
There's no ashes, there's nothing, there's no remnants, no, just
If,
like
if
literally.
there was, they floated away immediately on the wind.
then she is very much sort of not sitting, leaning, and just looking at the tree line, very, very focused at the tree line.
You're obviously upset at the moment, I take it, or whatever complex feelings Sire is having.
I don't know, roll me an insight check, DM.
In that, separate to that, you're aware that it is separate. You can't help but notice that elsewhere in your mind or in yourself, there is an unusual sense, separate to the conflict you just had, of comfort at the moment. You feel quite welcome and safe around this campfire, despite the other feelings you're having.
Is it coming from within or coming from the structure? Coming from... There's places have spiritual energy. Is it more of like an internal comfort or an external comfort?
I'm just checking something on your character sheet.
Maybe she can't tell.
I'd say, not to be unhelpful, I would say a bit of both. I promise that's not just me giving a cop-out answer.
Is Vanim is close?
Yeah, just in the middle of a fire.
Okay, then she's just gonna continue staring outside.
So, about the business of the toad, it has been unfortunately rendered useless. What do Atticus and Obsidian intend to do with this pile of offal and viscera that has been now dragged into their camp?
Is the hole in the ice still there, or is it already like half frozen?
It would be freezing, but you could eat enough that you could easily just push and go, no. This is not Arctic despite the map, it's more just a snowy forest.
Do you have any more need of it?
I'm afraid I don't seem to be getting very far with this, so I guess we'll call it a day.
I reckon we might find better meat elsewhere.
I mean, it just ate a whole wolf, so perhaps we can get that out.
Mm-hmm. Are you planning on that? Should we rather get
I've got
rid
plenty
of
of
the
rations.
carcass?
Maybe I'll stick with those.
Yes. Let's get rid of it so that more scavengers don't come around.
So yeah, unfortunately, such a botched job was made that it is several trips of like holding loose, spilling armfuls of toad. As you're sort of dropping them into the water, you do notice the splash and disturbances of small to mid-sized fish under the ice, but nothing that gives any concern. And yeah, a couple of trips later, there is now just a bit of a smear and puddle on the floor where the toad was emptied.
Sire has her jaw really clenched, and so her angular features are just more noticeable. She purses her lips and she takes a notebook from her pack, and she takes the tablet with the strange encryptions on it, and she very methodically starts writing down the alphabet and starts working on deciphering the cipher, or deciphering the message of this rune, trying to put all her attention onto that tablet by the fire.
Okay, yeah. I would say make me an investigation check. You're sat here, you've got the tablet as a reference. I'm going to say you can make this with a +2. Okay. You're working away on that. So, tell me a little about yourselves. Have you been with the guild for long?
Not really. This is our first, do you call it, mission?
Typically, yes.
We have done another. But that was just for what a fancy man. What was his name? Atticus. He seemed to.
Oh yes, Clem. Oh,
Clem.
fine chap.
You've met Clem Fandango.
Indeed, he was the one who sponsored our entry into the guild.
Yes.
My goodness.
Did him a favor.
But this is our first proper mission for the guild. Of course.
What favor did you do for Mr. Fandango?
Took care of a minor mission. There was a disturbance on the outskirts of town at a farmstead. Turned out to be some big ankeg monster thing.
And he championed you into the guild based on that?
Indeed.
Ogma's goggles. That's amazing.
Well, there's plenty more great deeds where that came from.
I should certainly like to hope to meet him one day. And Gellert. Two fantastically famous adventurers.
Can meet them all in Athkatla.
I don't particularly know if Athkatla is my kind of city. I think I'd struggle there quite a bit.
What is your kind of city? What are different kinds of cities, I wonder?
Well, one where I can defend myself without being imprisoned. I'm no good with a blade or my fists, but anything arcane, Macald wizards regulate.
Well,
when
as
I'm
long
unlicensed.
as long as you have a group to back you up, it'll be all right.
You've never run amok afoul of Macald wizards, then have you?
No, I mean, you wouldn't have to use your powers.
Oh, I thought for a moment. I thought for a moment you were suggesting fighting Macald wizards.
No, I do not have much against them.
You don't look as if you would have much cause to, though everybody can be full of surprises, of course, but I see the size of that hammer and imagine that you're perhaps not particularly interested in transcribing magical scrolls and the such.
No.
In fact, all of you have weapons. Are none of you practitioners? This might be why Athkatla is more to your liking. Although there was that business with the dog.
More of a new thing, to be honest. Typically, I'm just, raised for martial prowess, but recently have found that I have other gifts. Quite remarkable.
Like summoning a dog. I mean, it's a bit larger than your usual companion conjuring.
I mean, I've never done that before, so I don't really. I didn't tell it to come. It just suddenly was here.
Can you do it again?
I feel like I probably could, but I shan't.
It does seem more useful than a chair.
You know what? It does seem more useful than a chair. Our friend can summon chairs.
Oh.
But maybe we'll save that for
Is she a
when
carpenter?
it's needed. No, but she is a practitioner.
Oh. And she hasn't run foul of the cows.
I think she's managed to keep her gifts under wraps as far as I can recall.
Oh. Interesting.
Perhaps she shouldn't have summoned the chair in that first session, but never mind.
You didn't exactly summon the beast, did you? You didn't say words or make gestures or consume.
I was just taking watch, and then all of a sudden, it just kind of appeared before me.
So it's really not anything you've done. It's something that someone has done for you, or something has done for you.
I suppose so, but again, like with the other day, and first realizing I could conjure flames. It's like I just have this innate sense that I could call it back. I mean, it was me that dismissed it before, and it slooped up into a little bubble and disappeared. And I just have that inner sense that if I wanted to bring it back, I could.
Maybe something we should ask an arcane practitioner when we're back. Maybe they can enlighten you with what these new gifts are. Perhaps a visit to the temple.
I think that's probably wise. I mean, typically arcane magic is learned, isn't it, rather than gifted, whereas priests and whatnot tend to have abilities bestowed upon them. Or maybe it's like you, where, you know, the magic was within you all along. But I've always been a bit of a late bloomer, so you know how it is.
Whilst you're talking, as night fully descends and your vision stops a way out now, Vaneem runs her hand down her arm, which is left with like a lattice of runes on, and then she grabs her fingertip and pulls, and all of the runes sort of stretch before flicking off like an elastic band off into the darkness. And a small light appears that she starts to just move her hand, and it drifts around. How many watches were left until morning, is it? Worth us trying to get some more sleep?
I took one, and then Monkey was doing his. Atticus was doing his.
Atticus, obviously.
Sorry.
Yes, that's the second watch, and it was about due to be over, as far as I know, so I guess we've got 2 more to go.
Worth getting a bit more sleep then.
That's quite a nice little trick you've got there.
It's a simple incantation.
Not one I've been bestowed with, I'm afraid. Are you a priest?
No.
Or more of a, you know, bookworm?
No, she gestures to the many scrolls and small books on her purse, and she's like,
"Oh, okay.
I'm a sigilist. Yes,
Oh, of course.
What is a sigilist? I'm unfamiliar.
It's a type of wizardry, but I cast my spells a little differently and less violently.
I'm afraid I was also martially trained rather than arcanely. What sort of spells are your specialty?
Assisting companions, controlling the battlefield, disabling and hindering enemies without harming them. That's sort of the like.
Okay.
Mostly more utility than violence. Because above the table, utility wizards are the coolest wizards.
If things go badly tomorrow, just make sure you can get yourself out of any trouble.
That won't be a problem, but please don't mistake my pacifism for cowardice.
I wouldn't. I'm just, making sure that you have your priorities straight. I'm not tired, and I'm sure I could sleep, so I'm happy to take another watch.
All right.
Okay, if you're sure. And she sort of turns onto her sleeping bag and pulls over a little bit. The light stops drifting around and just hovers. Yeah, after about 15 minutes, Ciri, the light blinks out, and a half second later, you just hear the soft sounds of light sleep coming from Vanim's tent, sleeping bag. So, Obsidian, Atticus, are you returning to sleep or are you staying up, Ciri?
Sleeping.
I mean, I don't want to risk getting exhausted. Am I tired?
I imagine you would be tired.
Then I shall.
It's up to you. Okay. So, everybody asleep. Except Ciri, as she sat. I imagine, are you working on your cipher, but sort of keeping frequent eyes up and just the general watch? Yeah. Make me a perception check to summarize your time spent on watch.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's snowing really heavily.
Yeah. Roll me a d20.
God, this night will never end. 19.
Okay. Just make a note of something. Okay. Yeah. So you're sat there working away. This feels comfortable.
Considering we're inside a bunch of bones in the middle of nowhere where there's some ogres, yetis, wolves, and wolf-eating frogs around, yes, I agree. Strangely comforting.
We could sleep. It feels like it would be safe.
What if there's something lurking? And we don't see it. And it attacks us.
Okay.
It's not very reassuring. You can't really see anything through the snow. He is being a little shit, isn't he?
Are we jealous? Or are we worried?
No, not jealous. Worried, yes. I don't know why, though. Maybe because I cannot understand it. He never showed any sort of magical inclination. Why would it manifest now? What could it mean? And obsidian?
Our family is full of ambitious men.
Yeah, I know, but the visions. This warrior initiated a pilgrimage to find my brother, and I don't know why, and suddenly these things are happening around him, and I don't know why, and I just don't know if I'm going to be able to protect him. If I don't know what I'm protecting him from.
You feel a weird moment where you feel like you've just been reassured that you can look after him, but you don't recall the words that made you feel that way. If you get what I mean, you feel like you've skipped to the aftermath of a conversation without having the conversation, and you feel oddly reassured and comforted. And as you start to feel that, you notice almost immediately the blizzard drops down to being much lighter snowfall.
Maybe I should sleep. I get cranky if I'm tired. Doesn't do me any good.
And as you sort of stop for a moment, looking at the progress you've made before you call it a night, just stopping for a moment and looking at it as a whole, a couple of the letters click on your cipher. And from there, in a space of a few minutes, you manage to decipher the transcription you've made of the tablet. And you have the text in full.
Which I do. Hold on. She squints at it and she finds it through her nose. And just goes further up. Look, Kura, it's some sort of prayer. Oh, great winged mother, lady of cultivation, hear our prayers. Make our warrens strong against the raiding of the Yetis. Make our young fleet of foot to avoid the spiders of ice. Make our minds barren of gems, that we do not attract the eye of Sendax. Hear our prayers. Coravelion. It must have been a prayer to this dragon. Against the dragon that felled her, apparently. Could I, have I ever heard, apart from, yesterday, Lady of Cultivation, Corvellian, all that kind of like lore or history, or?
I can safely say no, even without a roll.
That is so strange. I've never. These entities, they're so unfamiliar. Some sort of paganism, perhaps, or. Anyway, probably better not to attract the eye of Sendax if it could do this to such a creature.
And as you're looking around the bones over you for a moment, you just have a flash of a flash of emotion that isn't yours, of thinking of this creature who clearly it seemed was beloved and was a cultivator, and it would seem a protector. You just imagine the moment it was felled here. And even though you don't know exactly how it happened, you feel a huge sense of grief. Like an unnaturally large sense of grief for just a few moments.
Sita is gonna forget that she's on a watch. She's going to, as best she can, make a note on her notebook of the pattern of the bones as they lay in this site, with the idea of when she has time and is able to tattoo the pattern of the bones on her body.
Yeah, I feel like you're a skilled enough artist. You could take a few minutes walking around, get an idea of it, and do that.
And then I think she might wake up someone to continue, unless sun's coming out. I'm not really sure where we are.
Yeah, I think it would be starting to. By this point, we'd be getting a little bit of light back.
Then maybe the last half an hour, she will return to her celestial chimes. Hey, do you mind just keeping an eye out for me whilst I just close my eyes for 30 minutes?
I'll try, but I get tired when you get tired. But I'll do my best.
I think we're safe here.
I told you that.
Well, now I'm telling you. I thought we were the same. Okay, 30 minutes. She lets her guard down for exactly that amount of time.
Let me just check something. Obsidian. A time later, you wake, and just casting an eye around, you notice nobody in camp is awake. And the watch system has failed. But it is morning.
Oh, well. Yeah, if it's... Is it like morning where I'd expect that we will be probably just continuing soon after?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, like, grunt, just disappointed. Look around if there's nothing that came closer to the camp, like a little thief, because danger is obviously not around. It's like, a smaller creature that would like try to get to someone's backpack. And after looking for those things, yeah, he'll just get his stuff together and wait until the others waken. Will not be indignant over someone falling asleep on the watch.
Yeah, and in the next sort of half hour, people begin to wake naturally, I imagine. The fire's getting a bit low, and that's letting a bit more of a chill in.
Morning, chaps and chapettes. Feeling good to go?
Yes, I could eat, but then, yes.
Will that beast of yours hunt with us?
Well, yeah, first of all, everyone should apply a long rest. Because nighttime has happened.
Yeah. Sure.
Siri, you feel particularly well rested. It reminds you of... You have the sense of when you were little and fell asleep and Freya would carry you up to your room and tuck you in thinking you were asleep, but you very much were not. But went along with the ruse, and that sort of almost childlike comfort makes you feel a bit bolstered this morning. You have 2 temporary HP.
Muted.
What'd you say? Heat it?
I said muted. She's talking. I can't hear what you're saying.
Oh.
Who muted me? Was that Kura? Never mind. God, I can really understand what this place is so special. There's definitely some sort of aura to this place. It's a shame it's so far off the way.
You're looking as jazzed as I was last night after that ice toad fight.
An aura? You
Yes.
mean like a magical?
An aura? Yeah. Or just like a feeling. You know, things have an aura or projection around them. That can be felt.
And she stands up and begins to trace. And again, sigils hang in the air as she casts Detect Magic. That was very loud and dramatic on my headphones. And yeah, this magical pulse comes out. She's like, nothing about the place that I can sense. No, I mean, obviously there's other types of presence, but there's nothing magical at play here, I assure you.
It didn't feel arcane. More familiar. Like a mother's embrace, if that makes any sense.
Perhaps the gods have a presence here.
Gods and dragons?
Dragon goddess?
Perhaps. But we should focus on what the plan is for today.
We're gonna fuck some ogres up. That's what we're gonna do.
Yes. We shall. Would it be perhaps good to get the bearings of their location first, see if we can use the environment against them? Or at least not be caught unawares.
I mean, if it sounds like there's gonna be at least as many of them as us, then every advantage we can get would be great. After all, these are huge creatures. And if we do get lured into a fray, then we should certainly try and focus our energies on bringing one down as fast as possible to even our chances, you know?
Understood.
Sure. We better get moving and hopefully get a lay of the land, eh?
Atticus, will your beast hunt with us today?
I was planning on saving it in case of an emergency, but I could resummon it, yes?
An emergency.
It was a bit smelly, so I didn't want to have it here all the time. Nor do I know how long it can physically stay here before it might have to disappear. You know?
Don't you feel that internally?
Maybe I do feel that internally. How do I feel about that?
I feel like you feel like it was difficult to maintain, but you could manage it for about a minute.
Yes, I think I can only have it with us for a very short space of time.
Essentially, a combat a day.
Perhaps I'll bring him in just as we're about to fight.
No, please, after you.
You were saying, Bonnie?
There is a chance that we'll stumble upon my former companions before we make it to the forest where I was attacked.
So that you think they might still be out here somewhere?
Well, if they haven't moved along from where we parted ways. They could easily have moved on and be elsewhere in the region now. It isn't particularly. Or we could, frustratingly, stumble upon them bringing back a dead Yeti, if they decided that the coin was worth it after all. That would be very irritating, but there wouldn't be anything we could do. I think it's just like...
Could be something we could do.
Shall we?
Let's hope for the best.
Of course. Are we all ready?
Farim, just to be clear, if we do come across your companions, and we assess that their banditry is more harmful than good, would you be against us perhaps confiscating their weapons, or...
Oh no, I'd welcome that.
Okay.
Banditry has no place.
I agree.
I'd be happy to try and apprehend them, to hand them in, but I'm also, as I said, I'm not naive. I know it may not come along quietly, and the safest thing for the region may be for you, not me. But it would be better to apprehend them, of course, and let the constables have their say.
Well, we can jump over that bridge when we get there. And she bundles up. It's cold.
I thought at the mention of crossing a bridge, she's like, ooh.
Jumping over a bridge.
Yeah, oh, I noticed.
All right.
Okay. And yeah, Vanim, you notice once the camp's packed up, she makes a point of kicking snow over the fire, and then basically does her best to sort of dissemble and spread the campfire so that this place looks almost undisturbed, like you were never here. I'll try my best to lead the way in the general direction again. Is somebody able to help me scout ahead? I see. Who will do the survival check, assisted by Vanim?
I feel like Obsidian is quite good at surviving, so maybe he should.
Right, make
People
a survival
really-
check with a...
Went
Sorry,
very well
super
last
tiny.
time. Sorry.
Super tiny. In her head, she's just going to dedicate a small prayer of gratitude to Corvallium.
Okay.
And think to herself, I hope this works similar with dragons as it does with gods. So if you can hear me, thank you for your protection and the comfort of your bones. And that's it. Just in her head.
Not thank you for the frog.
You're not in my head. There's enough things in my head, but you're not in it.
Okay.
So survival?
Yes, please. Survival with advantage.
Advantage.
Okay. To your delight, as you set off, the snows stop for the day, and travel is easy. You are in a bit of a tundra region. Forest is, you're not through much dense forest. There's a lot of open plain. You find that as you're traveling, you can see the forest in the far distance. There are plains and icy fields between you and them, but you find that you're traveling with so much visibility and high ground and the surrounding plains that nothing's going to be sneaking up on you today. And it is fairly easy to track your direction. The weather is fair. yeah, you spend most of the day traveling on foot. Are there any issues, any matters of great import or conversations you want to have while you travel? Okay. You travel
close to the target. We are just focused on the prey.
Yeah.
Yes, trying not to make a lot of noise or keeping an eye like peeled out. Like we are on a hunt, so I think
Yeah.
professionalism comes on.
As you carry on throughout the day, Vanim said, if we are going to encounter my former companions, it will be in a couple of hours. That's where they had made camp, on a frozen lake, and then on the other side of that lake, the forest. That's where I was attacked. So trouble may only be an hour or so away, if there's any preparations you want to take. We'll round the base of those hills, and she points to a hill line in the distance, and it's like, and then we'll be able to see. Is there anything that anybody wishes to do before we round the base of the hill? Okay.
Bring it on.
As you pass around, we've walked almost all day. We're getting to like 4 p.m. now. You see ahead frozen lakes and then a snow-topped forest beyond that. You see immediately down on the ice a small cluster of tents and sleds and a large amount of blood and several corpses scattered around the camp.
Well, looks like they weren't so successful after all.
Immediately just perception check the surrounding tree line, just to see if whatever was this threat is around.
So it's in quite an open area. There's very little in terms of ambush nearby. They're kind of just out exposed in this camp. You do notice, even from this distance, slumped up against a ledge, a corpse that is significantly larger than the others. And I would say with your passive perception, Siri, as you're sort of looking at and notice this, you just catch through the snow a slight rise and fall of the chest of this large creature slumped up against
Careful.
the wall.
It's still alive. Does it look wounded?
Heavily. Yeah.
How far away are we talking?
Originally when you saw it, a couple of 100 feet. It's exposed enough that you can see there are other creatures lying in wait, but you can also see, Siri, that it's trying sort of feebly to keep all its guts held in with one large hand. And it is undeniably an ogre.
I want to put it out of his misery.
One less for us to deal with.
I'm happy to do the honors.
Is there any information we'd like to gather from him? From it? Can
Do
they
they
speak?
even speak common? Let's
I'm not
find out.
sure.
And he will
Just
stroll on in.
Yeah. The name's like, this was them. Yes. And you see several of the bodies are in multiple pieces. There is one floating face down in a crack in the ice, and then leaning against the ledge over here is a large, corpulent, pale-skinned ogre. A great club lion out of its reach, some 20 foot off to the side, and a corpse. One hand is holding its stomach in, the other is clutching onto the neck of someone who presumably died fighting it. Their head is no more.
You there, hideous beast. Do you speak the common tongue?
What?
He turns to face Sire. I mean, he sort of speaks the common tongue. He's probably a bit dense, you know?
Crossbow aimed at the ogre, right in between the eyes.
Do
Ogre,
a shoot.
where are the other ogres?
Give me the feel-good magic.
Fuck that. Atticus is just going to walk up to him and smash him with a greatsword.
Smash him how?
Executioner style.
Will any of your companions attempt to interject or prevent?
Oh, not Obsidian. Obsidian is probably already looking for some sort of tracks, if there are any. And trying to establish whether this happened very recently or, you know, whether everything is just already covered because it happened when the snow was still heavy.
There will be a time for survival checks. Oh, go on, sorry.
I want to, just before Atticus is moving, it's like,
yeah,
why did you attack
they
these
said
people?
He's coming in. Atticus is about to kill it.
It's not gonna...
I mean, you can absolutely try and stop him. Verbally, you don't have to...
I don't have a good enough reason to.
I've lost my mouse. There it is. Very strange. Yeah, funnily enough, it hits.
I did just roll damage. Don't know what's going on there.
I don't know why.
It happened. The animation played.
Some sort of strange lag, but yes, he very much is killed. Vanim's like, he might have had.
He wasn't going to speak to us, not without feel-good magics, and the only one that I know that has access to some feel-good things is actually a companion that is not here, so...
Even if we did have any of that, he was just going to use that as an excuse to potentially ambush us and try and kill us anyway. No point healing someone who you're about to execute anyway. Well, better look around, see what's what. And Atticus is gonna... Is this a open water over here, this one?
Yeah, there's a pool where part of the ice has broken or sunken, hasn't frozen over yet, and there is a face-down corpse floating in the water. Well, the top half of a corpse floating in the water. The legs are over here.
Oh, lovely. Well, in that case, I'll see if the legs have any pockets with anything in, along with the corpse that the ogre is holding.
Yeah, so everybody let me know what you want to do in this campsite, and then we'll go round, because Obsidian's mentioned some things that he wants to do as well. Mm-hmm. So Obsidian, you mentioned... Oh, go on, sorry.
No. You do the order.
Obsidian mentioned you wanted to do a check of how recent does it all seem.
Yeah, and if there's any sort of direction where, I mean, I might be wrong to presume that this wasn't just one ogre here, but
make me an investigation check.
Yeah, sure.
I will give in terms of map detail. Are you going to ever roll something bad? In terms of map, this is the opposite of my character in Max Thing, who only rolls terrible. There are no fresh sled tracks. That's just a map detail.
There's a fiery eye opening in Obsidian's head.
So, all the blood, because unfortunately some of it is splatter blood, all the blood has had a night's worth of thin snowfall over it. You are... What's the +2? Oh. You are... Looking around, you see there is a club next to the creature. There is another broken club on the other side of the camp. You are confident that this is not just the work of one ogre. Several of the tents are actually crumpled and trampled. Their ropes blowing a bit in the wind. And you also see that one of the corpses has been shredded heavily, looking like it's been mauled by some sort of creature with talons or claws that don't match the meaty potatoes of the ogre's fists. You estimate, based on how much you've seen and felt it snowing, and that it stopped for a while earlier, that this possibly happened a day previously. Mm-hmm. The bodies in the snow are stiffened, not just with rigor mortis, but where there's the people, a lot of the blood is now just ice. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you feel like this massacre is about a day old. The ogre itself seems to have, the one that has died seems to have scorch marks over a lot of its shoulder, and then 6 or 7 small dagger wounds around its chest and torso, and you see the headless third corpse that it was clutching. There is a dagger on the floor next to it.
Okay. Any direction that the creatures might have went?
I mean, the forest that Vanim mentioned being attacked by them in is just slightly further north of here. Okay. You can see it in the distance. Okay. So it would, logically, if you hadn't encountered them already, it would seem that they may have headed back to in that direction.
All right.
Siri, what were you going to mention wanting to do?
First, I'd like to ask Fornim. Jesus. Right. Fornim? Help me. What? How do you pronounce her name?
Vanim.
Vanim. Thanks. If she's okay with us rifling through the pockets of her ex-companions?
I mean, yes, I feel like when they made it their business to take other people's belongings, they kind of established that dynamic, did we not? So yes, we should furnish ourselves with whatever we're able. Hey!
Then...
And she rushes over. It's like, this is my bag.
A lucky find.
It's almost empty.
Alright, let's search the tents, maybe, and the sleds. Maybe we can find some of your belongings. And maybe we can find something else that's useful. So I guess Siri is the assistant of her new sigilless companion. I can't pronounce that word, Harrison, I'm so sorry.
Vaneem. Yeah, I'm amazed by that. It's just forename. It's just forename with a V.
Yeah, that's why I want to say fornem, because that's what it says. It's not Vaneem. That's not how Vaneem is spelled. Anyway, and bodies.
So yeah, so Atticus had mentioned, I think, want to do a little bit of looting. So are we getting to looty time? Okay, both of you make me investigation checks of advantage, because you're both combing through this together. It's a coordinated looting. What areas are you focusing on? Did you say a minute ago, Atticus, you're more wanting to search for bodies, and Sirius has mentioned more sort of searching the belongings?
Yeah, the tents on the sleds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the tents have been trampled, and not all, but it's not just 4 nice little tents. There's a bit of pulling up the canvas and sort of crawling in a little bit and pulling some parts out of the snow where it had sunk beneath. The sledges. Are you both making me checks?
Yeah. Did you say investigation with advantage?
Yeah, I want Atticus and Siri to both give me advantageous investigation checks. There we go.
She rolls so badly out of 10.
Okay. So yeah, the sleds have been ransacked. There are enough open boxes, torn sacks, that it's clear that a very heavy-handed pillaging has gone on here. You do find a crate full of very fresh seeming apples. One of them, there is such a small chunk of an apple left on the floor, frozen, that it seems like a huge bite was taken out of it. And looking nearby, sort of curled up in the snow, you notice a pulped large mouthful of frozen apple, like something large bit into the apple and found it wanting and spat it out. And the rest of the apples have been left. There are a few lengths of rope and a couple of furs, a single dagger, but other than that, there is very, very little left other than empty boxes and ruined sacks.
Can I smell the apple?
Yeah.
Does
It smells like a fresh, healthy, hale apple. It is a pink lady.
Can I give it a bite?
Yeah.
Tastes fine.
Yes.
Roll a Constitution saving throw. Oh god. Did it dies? Oh my word.
No. Yeah, it is a nice tasting pink lady apple.
Yeah, then I'll grab like maybe half a dozen.
Yeah.
The length of rope, it's never too bad to have too much rope. As long as it's like just something reasonable. And if there's like a fur in good state, then I don't really want to be that encumbered. So I might just take like another length of rope and half a dozen apples.
Okay.
Can we grab that?
Yeah. Or if you want, you can just up your rations accordingly, unless you specifically want apples in your inventory. Atticus, your search. So you very quickly note that there is nothing on these people in the way of obvious weapons. You see a couple of scabbards and like axe wraps, but the weapons are gone from them. There are no coin purses or significant jewelry, but as you're going through them, you start to notice there's not been a very thorough rifling and looting of these people. The very obvious standard things have been checked for, but it's not been a search of finer things. You find on one of them, there is one of them was quite heavily armored, had a golden bracelet that was so far up their arm that it wasn't loose on the wrist. and that can be removed. One of them, there is a spell scroll tucked deep down into their fairly high boots, and one of them on the inside of their tabard. As you're patting them down, you notice a slight sort of hard bulge here, and on the inside of their tabard there is a secret little pocket that contains a healing potion.
Definitely grab all of those things.
Yeah, looking at it, these people were... It does not seem like it was much of a fight. Between you and... but with your combined rolls, I'm going to give you that one of the corpses is basically in their small clothes. And as Siri was searching through the tents, one of them had a set of adventuring leathers, including the boots, still in there. And the combination of those two factors would lead you to believe that maybe this group were ambushed at night.
Guys, it looks to me kind of like all of their belongings have already been taken. Like, their weapons are gone, there's no coin purses or anything. If that's the case, and they've been ambushed and murdered for their loot, like... Ogres practicing banditry is just a worrying thought, is all I'm saying. Like, if they've been organized by their Yeti boss and are stealing things, as well as murdering people, like, I expect them to be violent, but, you know, like, I wasn't expecting them to be pillaging weaponry and whatnot. They're just more, organized than perhaps I was expecting.
Obsidian, did you find anything?
You could say that. It seems that they have attacked with their whole might. So, presumably they have known earlier that these have been camping around. Some of them might be wounded, hopefully. Maybe they have retreated to lick their wounds. Do you know if all of your companions are accounted for here, Bonim?
You see her looking around, going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, the other part of 4. Ooh, 5. Yes, no, they're all here. Just it looked.
All right.
There was just a couple of them are no longer in one place. Unpleasant.
Definitely seems like they have cooperated, the ogres, with the Yeti in this attack.
I mean, that is rather unusual, yes? I thought Yetis were solitary creatures.
I thought that both they and ogres were dumb brutes who wouldn't even be capable of doing much more than killing and eating.
So ogres, absolutely yes, but Yetis are... They might not be educated, but my understanding is that they're big on what a lot of people would call low cunning. They have a lot of wickedly malicious... The intelligence of a predator. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
That sounds like there's a story. That was full of weight, that comment. Is there a story you'd like to share? Have you
this is
killed such a beast before?
I do not think this is time for stories.
Oh, of course. My bag has mostly been pillaged. However, they didn't look in the back pocket, so I do have a single flask of Alchemist's Fire, which might be useful.
Speaking of which, Siri, I know you said you wanted to perhaps look at making some flaming bolts. Like, do you want to grab a bit of, if we cut off a bit of excess material here, we could wrap a little sliver around a bolt and dip that in oil, and then should it come to it, we can fire them off flaming.
Yes, I'm not sure how accurate they'll be, or if it's a little bit do it yourself, but I think it'd be useful.
Can always give it a go and sorry, Australian. Can always give it a go and see if it works or not.
I don't want the knights to catch us. We are clearly
Indeed.
into their territory. She's gonna make a quick evaluation of how long it would take her to craft a couple of oiled, ready to be ignited crossbow bolts.
I mean, you have bolts already, don't you? So this is a
I do.
case of how long would it take you to rip some chunks off a t-shirt and dip it in washing up liquid now? This is a
10 minutes.
this is a 5-10 minute job. Absolutely, you can do
Okay.
that.
Then I'd like to do that with like about maybe half a dozen bolts.
Okay. So these will do. The way we'll have this work is this isn't proper ammunition. Off the top of my head, this is a non-professional. This is a botch job out in the wild. Every time you fire one of these bolts, we will flip a coin to see if it stays ignited. If it lands right, then it does an extra point of fire damage on top of a normal bolt. That sound
Nice.
fair? Without it being like specialist magically made? Yeah. Cool. So yeah, you can put 6. Just make a mental note. But you have 6. Home DIY firebolts.
Right. Shall we move forward? Vonium, do you know which way we should be looking to go next?
Yes, to the forest.
Very well.
And she continues leading the way. And as we're arriving in the forest, I think slightly earlier than usual, but it makes sense, we'll take our 10 minutes. So yeah, we will be back in 10. So, we're back. You come to the start of a small forest. Very hilly. It's clear at the base of not mountains, but where the hills are getting higher, and you find yourself in the unenviable position of starting to move into this wood as the sun begins to dip. Vaneem says, it was here that I was attacked. I was trying to climb over those branches, those roots, and that's when the Yeti came charging at me from that direction, further up the hill. You said you had some sort of trap you wanted to prepare? How does that work if we're going to them?
It doesn't.
I don't know how quickly they work. Is it something you can throw?
I don't believe it'll. It's not. It's a ground. It's like a bear trap, a ground-based clamp trap. We would need to have time to see them coming, time to put down the trap, and then still hopefully be able to secrete it. Ideally, it's for when we're in place and they get to come to us rather than us go to them.
So not particularly helpful for today then.
Well, if we approach their lair, for example, and they're not in, then that would be ideal. But if we go and there they are, not so much.
Perhaps on the exit, if we need to run, it might give us
As
a
long
couple
as we
of
remember
extra
where
seconds.
it is.
Yes. Well,
Also,
we need
it's
to
a
hide it.
question of can we get close enough to the entrance to put a trap down without them noticing? But
Well, we need to keep a distance, that's for sure, and hide it. Did you say the Yeti was quite fast. You managed to outrun it, yes?
Only because, I mean, it almost killed me, but I managed to stun it for a moment and then tie it up with magic for long enough that I was able to get a few minutes head start.
Well, I say we better get approaching then.
Let's be very careful.
We approach carefully.
And yeah, as you head further into the woodland, Vaneem lets you know that you've passed the point where she's obviously been now. Are you... What are you looking for? Anything in particular? Are you just trying to look for tracks, or are there any particular signs you're hoping to see?
Yeah, signs on. I guess Celia would. If Obsidian's focusing on tracks, then Celia might be looking at branches and scuff marks on trees. Sometimes creatures are territorial. They might markings. Just any sort of like disturbance of the natural
Okay.
landscape.
Obsidian, make me an advantageous survival check if Siri is assisting.
Obsidian would also potentially expect there to be, if not trails, then at least like drops of blood. Like there's this underlying assumption that probably if they manage to down one of them, surely the others have at least been scratched, you know.
Okay, yeah, maybe an advantageous survival check, please.
Sure thing.
Atticus is just looking out for ogres, so...
Okay. Yeah, but you find, Obsidian, there are the occasional drops of blood heading up in this one particular direction through trees that Siri notes are where the saplings are bent back occasionally. As you're walking up the hill, you notice a what looked very quickly to be that something rather large, just rather unceremoniously walking up this path, decided to go to the bathroom. There is a large frozen pile of shit just off the natural path of the hill. And then the path carries up and you find yourself in a bit of a clearing with a strange sinkhole in the middle.
This might be it.
Do we try and make an effort to go quietly?
Could do that.
Very well. We'll creep ahead. Stealthy.
But make me a stealth check. Everybody who's trying to sneak, make me a stealth check.
Disadvantage from chainmail.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heavy armor.
I'll just carry up because it will be more quieter that way.
I still jangle.
Wait, Obsidian. Come here a moment.
How do you even see me?
Where did he go? Vaneem creates a small rune, which looks like it hovers in front of her hand as she reaches out and sort of waiting to look for your permission. Looks. Do you need a moment?
It's okay.
No. Looks to sort of press it against your forehead with your consent. It looks almost like a clock. And as she presses it to you, you feel a small spark of energy in you as she casts Gift of Alacrity on you. Oh, no, wait. It's not even that. Yeah. She casts, and you feel a spark of almost like magical chronergy adrenaline. Yeah, for the next minute. Oh, sorry, the next 8 to 1 minute cast time. There we go. So she winds the clock and pushes it onto you. I thought it was a longer spell. Yeah, you have 1d8 on initiative roll for the next 8 hours.
Okay. Oh.
That should help you get off the ground a bit quicker if it does go sour.
Sita's gonna load the first of her firebolts onto the crossbow. Just have it ready.
Do you have gold?
What the fuck? Where does that come from?
Maybe perception check. Gold when it's cold. Yeah. Cold when it's cold. And you hear just a smattering of from this clearing.
From the clearing.
Yeah.
I will try and set the trap here.
Okay.
It's coming from around us, so like
Yeah.
sourceless, like unseen.
Yeah.
I definitely try to identify where this noise is coming from, where the voice is coming from.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe a perception check. Careful, lads. He's putting a trap down.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, he's
What's
putting a
going on?
trap down. Oh, trapper.
Well, I rolled 40 and I don't know if that helps.
I'm
it does
going
not.
to-
I pre-rolled something.
I'm going to just like stick back to back to Atticus. Ah, stop moving.
Are you going in, Mr. Trapman?
Who speaks?
Don't forget your trap. Do you have gold? Leave it in the cold.
I'm gonna put the trap away and take it with me.
Oh, bye, Trapper. Can't go in unless you're giving gold.
Who
says
are you? Reveal yourselves. Yes.
And there's a burst of laughter as several piles of snow poof, all burst up into small, icy, winged creatures fluttering and cackling. Didn't bring gold. Now they feel the cold. And I would like everyone to roll me initiative, please.
Oh, fucking invisible bastards.
God, oh, so poorly.
False appearance, actually, Atticus, my guy. Oh, Vaneem would also like to be in this combat, I imagine. Did you add your D8, Obsidian?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Are you rolling, Atticus?
Yeah, I just lost connection for a sec, but I'm coming.
You
Slowly,
idiot.
as
Yeah.
always. Fuck Obsidian, I need a fucking D8 on my initiative.
We had the same roll.
Was it all the D8? Jesus.
God, that was the first method flutters out. And exudes a torrent of cold breath that envelops you, Obsidian.
He hates the cold. Maybe.
The next one casts a spell. A huge amount of cold mist just comes bursting out of it. As it casts Fog Cloud. Obsidian, you're up.
All right. Yeah, with that, Obsidian will shake off the frost flakes and immediately run. Well, actually, I think I'll run between those two and behind them. Target the first one. Just equip, just throw out hand axes and start going to town, hopefully. One. Oh,
It hits.
Okay.
huh. Chonk.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a good chunk into it.
Let's do the bonus then. For the second. Oh, that should be without something. Okay, well, doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, that will be all. That's
Okay.
bonus and
Siri, you're up.
regular.
DM, is there any elevation on this map, or can I go straight
Nah.
towards Obsidian? Okay, fine. Then I'm going. Then I'm going to go straight towards Obsidian. There's a shimmer on her sword as she tries to go straight through the throat of this wounded method. Oh my word!
Hits.
Wait, why am I rolling a d4?
Do you still have the effect of your tattoo on you?
Yes. So
And
sorry,
it rolled
could
a
that
4.
be? So that would have been actually a 2 plus a 4 plus a 2. So 8.
But would have missed.
Okay, then it misses. I'm gonna fix that now.
Yep.
And that is that's it.
Okay. From this fog cloud next to you, Atticus, there is a sudden of icy breath that comes out and wraps around you.
Bastards.
Vaneem sort of rushes out to the side, looking across and seeing one of the methods fixated on her, just takes a moment and runs a rune from head to toe, and her form begins to shift as she casts Blur on herself. This method is going to try to... It looks between each of you and grinning. It's going to move away from Ciri.
Opportunity attack.
Yep, go for it. Hits. Yeah, okay.
Gosh, she's chunky.
It envelops all of you, including its companion, in a blast of cold. You notice, unsurprisingly, its companion doesn't seem remotely fussed.
How am I rolling so bad?
This one comes down, goes to attack Vaneem, who is blurring, which I believe is just disadvantage. Yes. Oh, it knows already. Nice. Yeah, misses. Atticus, you're up.
I'm going to assume that Vaneem is okay with her magic and come over and join this fray. And we're going to go in swinging.
Ooh.
Nice. Excellent. As you sever the mephit, there is an unexpectedly high pressure burst of ice as icy shrapnel comes careening out around it. I need I need Atticus and Obsidian to make me a DC 10 Dex saving throw. Taking this much damage on a fail, half on a save.
What does the
Atticus,
save look like?
you take one. You take one cold damage. No, sorry, slashing damage.
Then I reduce it to... Is it magic?
It is...
Or is it physical?
It doesn't specify, but given it's from a narrative, it's an explosion of ice. We're going to assume it's physical.
Do I take
Then
one or
it's
zero?
0!
How's that working?
You
If I pass?
take zero. We'll say half.
Oh,
One
okay.
is 0. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Atticus, still you.
Encouraged by the fact that he got away with no harm, he's going to go ahead and bonus action try and pommel strike the other one as well.
Okay. Oh my god.
Wow.
Jesus. Yeah, it is knocked senseless. It almost looks ready to burst itself. Anything else from you, Atticus?
Nope, he looks invigorated from having already slain one and is ready to do it again.
Okay. Top of a round. It is this guy again. He is going to just try and frost breath all of you. Oh, of course, it's on a recharge. Did not recharge. Failure. Then in that case, he is going to drop a fog cloud, obscuring himself, which I think is just disadvantage on attacks, isn't it, when they're obscured?
Mm-hmm.
And then he will attempt to move away from all of you. So all three of you can make a disadvantageous
We
opportunity
probably
attack against him.
We probably
cannot.
cannot because we cannot see him.
Of course.
Siri also has wasted spent her reaction.
There has already used it. I would love to get an attack of
Oh.
opportunity.
Right. Oh, is there another one? Yeah.
Ship and movement on that is... Yep, that's all. Obsidian, you're up.
Obsidian will rush towards where Vaneem was, because not seeing much. Will
Yeah.
just make his way to that area.
Yeah, suddenly woof, the cloud parts and you see there's one to your right and one to your left who's slashing and swinging out at Vaneem. And she just seems to be quite calmly stepping back as she's...
Cool. I will attack recklessly, so that will be with advantage. One hit.
Hits.
Oh, that's sad.
A lot of the ice is hard, is particularly thick and hard down its back, and the first strike doesn't really get much purchase. Ray bloody purchase. Yep, second one goes in well.
That one I think should be 4 less, right? Is that how it worked on the? I don't
4
get
less?
the,
What?
Oh, if it's an offhand.
4 less damage
yeah.
because it's an offhand, so I don't get the bonus from. I need to make a additional item for offhand. Yeah, so that will be -4.
So what? I add 4 damage back onto it, do I?
Yeah. That's 2
Okay.
pathetic strikes.
Anything else from you,
No, that will be it.
Siri?
Siri's just gonna wander away from the fog cloud, kind of like appearing somewhere here. She doesn't see the method that is still in the cloud, so she's gonna have to target this one. She's gonna take off her crossbow. Oh crap! I lost her character sheet. And it is one of the fire ones because I did say that I had.
Roll me a D2. 1, it's gonna work. 2, it's gonna fail.
Okay. Well, first it does hit. D2. Is it /R 1d2?
Yeah, /R 1d2.
D2.
Not a valid smash echelon. Is it /R space 1d2?
Yeah.
Yep.
It works. So an extra 1 point of fire damage. So yeah, roll your damage.
8.
Nice.
Oh,
And there's an extra 1 point of fire damage. However, unsurprisingly, this thing doesn't like fire, so it turns into 2 points of fire damage, which makes it explode. So Vaneem and Obsidian both need to make me a DC 10 Dex saving throw as the creature explodes.
Oh, that would be 3.
oh no, Marine.
Oof, yes, a 7. Let's have a look. Let me just check the damage. 1d8 slashing.
Does Blurred not give her advantage or something?
Doesn't say so from it. Oh!
Ooh.
7 slashing damage to Vaneem. She cries out,
Oh, I feel bad about that.
manages to. The blur flickers for a moment, almost drops, but she steals herself, and the spell remains inactive. But you see, very, very Cypher against Dracula. There's now like the sleeves of her robe are slashed by some jagged ice, and blood's dripping down. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Try to stay away from them.
Anything else from Siri?
No. I'm trying. Actually, yeah, sorry.
Oh, every time. Go on, Siri.
Sorry, just staying, just going to protect her a little bit. That's it.
Okay. From out of the fog cloud.
Stop clustering!
Stop what? Oh yeah, clustering.
Clustering.
Oh, can I not get both of them? That's interesting. Very interesting.
I mean, if it's a cone,
close.
that's how it's. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? It probably wouldn't have come all the way over then.
Oh.
Hey, I feel like this creature would know its potency. It's me, the DM, who failed.
Where's that private?
Ooh, blur drops from the name as the ice buffets her. Uh-oh! It slips back into the cloud. That's all it can do. Vaneem looks at you, to you, Siri. You can find it, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And she is going to cast True Strike. You have advantage on your next attack. And then she will step back. Atticus, you're up.
Okay, well, I'm still in the fog.
You hear there's a couple of cackles and chittering laughs.
More than 3?
I guess I would have gone roughly in the direction of the one that went away when it conjured the fog cloud. I can't see it since it's still in the fog,
Mm-hmm.
but I can see my compadres. Okay, there's one all the way over there. So I will blast him. Whoops, I targeted 2. My bad.
Nice.
I accidentally killed one I shouldn't have. Sorry.
What do you say when you cast Eldritch Blast? Mainly because I want to hear you say whatever that says.
I say, it Septem Jeb.
Quertiuyup. Okay, yeah. Your spell blasts out. Anything else, Maticus?
Nope.
And McLeod next to you.
Can they see from the inside the cloud?
They can.
Well, that just seems unfair.
It's almost like they're ambushes. The other one comes out, blasting breath as it flies, and then comes in right up in between Vaneem and Siri. Obsidian, you're up.
I shall drop the axes, grab a maul, and rush forward, and hope I can slam it away. That will be reckless as well. So that will be maul.
Slam it away. What is this? One of you? Oh, is this your crusher?
Yeah.
It hits.
It. And can I move it before it bursts? Like,
I do not know what the on this occasion, yes, but we'll look up the rule on that for future because I imagine it's something people have argued about before. Yeah, you drive it back, and on this occasion was a moment's. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that it happens before, because surely the strike and the damage the strike does happens before the secondary effect of it being moved. But we'll look it up.
Say.
So yeah, it is knocked back and then explodes.
But it is a nice visual of just.
It is a nice visual, yeah. Yeah. Anything else from
Okay.
Obsidian?
Well, yeah, I don't want to stand next to people, so I will. This is a weird one because we know where they disappear, so I will just go into the fog looking for them, and whether or not I can find them, I don't know. How do you rule that here?
You attack with disadvantage.
Yeah,
I
sure.
should probably. You can attack it where you think they are. I
cannot attack this turn anyway. I'll just sort of head into there and try to get a feeling for where it might be, and that's my turn.
I should probably, in future,
Sure, you can do that.
Invisible them. Okay, Siri, you're up.
With the magic of True Strike kind of guiding her eyes, I would like to be able to target this thing on a straight roll, because I can't see them, but I can attack.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look. I think unless True Sight specifies that they can see, let's have a look. Providing the target hasn't ended, yeah. So we can say that the advantage of True Strike mitigates the disadvantage of it being obscured, and it is a straight attack. So long as you ping where you want to attack, Gija. What tile you want to attack into?
Well, the one that
how's the creature in?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
You think? Okay. Make me an attack roll. Flat.
So I don't
Obviously,
target anything.
once you go over to it, yeah, just roll me a flat attack roll.
Dun, dun. I think it was still targeted before it went invisible. That's why I did it.
So which tile are you moving into? Sorry, Siri, you're still on the same tile on my screen.
He's
I'm not
shooting.
moving. I'm shooting.
Sorry, of course, yeah. And is it a firebolt? Did you say? Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, it's a crossbow.
No, it's a normal one.
It's a regular one. Okay. Yeah, roll damage.
Seven.
Ah, that's not very nice.
Neither are you. And she steps away. Okay.
Not knife. And swooping out of the cloud. I'll show you how not knife I am. That hits, but the Neem will shield.
Oh. Bong.
And then she will... Ooh, let's have a look. She's in a bit of trouble, actually.
Mm-hmm.
She turns and unleashes a torrent of... Oh, why is that? There we go.
Oh, wow.
Why is it showing up as... One moment. Don't know why it's showing up as calculating damage. But man, 60, 21, yeah. The method suddenly, oh, my eyes! My eyes! And then she steps back. You see that she's got several large wounds and seems to be bleeding quite a bit. Atticus, you're up. This method is fluttering.
It?
It's rolling HP, an amount of HP that can be blinded.
Oh. Okay. For once, Atticus will have learned his lesson from the exploding ice methods, and so he will try and blast this one. Oh, and because it's blinded, I have advantage, it says.
Mm-hmm. Pew pew.
And I guess I will step to spread a little more out, but that is it.
From inside the cloud, you hear, "Gotta tell the boss! Gotta tell the boss!"
Maybe not. How much speed does it have? Jesus.
Well,
I
if
guess
it
it dashed.
if it uses, yeah, if it dashes. Okay. Well, we'll see.
Obsidian, you're up.
Yeah, Obsidian will give a quick look at the one that stays there and seemingly has no idea what's happening, probably. Is it just flapping its wings and like looking
it's
disoriented? That's fine.
my eyes, my eyes.
Sure. In which case, I'll just rush forward and see if I can get that one before he does something stupid.
You see a sharply declining, large path down.
Not even here. God damn it. So, uh, I guess I'll dash.
Oh
And
no.
wow. Okay.
That's what you want to hear. Wow.
That's okay. How much movement do they have?
Yeah, but you find yourself just in a dark cave,
Can I hear it at least?
ice encrusted with stalactites of ice everywhere, and the walls are frozen over. It is a jagged, unwelcoming place.
They weren't exactly stealthy. Can I hear it cackling away or just calling for the boss?
If you're making a focused one, you've already used your action to dash. Do you have them allow you to make a focused perception check? I mean, you can hear the screams of the one behind you upstairs screaming about how he's blind.
Okay,
He's blind. I'm
So
blind.
I've used 35, so what is it for?
Because you've done exactly what I was hoping wouldn't happen, and we're now in a situation where you're in a cave and vision and light should be set to 0 for cave exploration, but everybody's still upstairs.
Okay,
so
I see.
I need to sort of toggle the lighting, so you would not be able to see now at this point.
I see. Okay, yeah. If I don't see and don't even hear it like nearby myself, I will just go back.
Okay.
I'm not chasing in the dark.
Yeah. You see that as a dark cave.
Just run in, don't see it, don't hear it nearby. No. I'll go back and stand by the tree.
Okay. Siri.
No.
Oh, sorry, is there more obsidian?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Siri had begun running after Obsidian. Then she sees that he's coming back. She's gonna shoot him a very confused look.
Oh, the humanity! I'm blind!
And then just kind of like aim a crossbolt at this guy. Damage. And then continue.
Funnily enough, he explodes.
Continue for the rest of her movement.
Shake his head at your inquisitive look.
Damn it!
Too dark
That's
to
not good.
catch it. Well, we can... Atticus,
What?
the trap, they will probably come to us now.
I feel like there's a good chance they might just hole up in there. But I'll go ahead and try and put it down anyway.
Just mark it with a tile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In which case, Siri is going to try to hide behind the tree. Rim, get away from there! Get back!
Yes, I need to... Does anybody mind if I drink one of these healing potions?
No, do it.
Actually, to maximize healing efficiency.
No, I feel like that was fairly efficient, but... That was max, wasn't it, actually?
Yep.
So what now?
Well, did you say it was dark in there?
It was. Do we wait? Do we try to smoke them out somehow?
They might prefer to stay in there and meet us on their terms, but if we wait, perhaps they might venture out.
There is a danger that they might have another exit.
They probably do.
That is true. Sire, I forget, is that one of your gifts? Can you conjure some light for us?
No.
What kind of
I
fucking
sure can.
ASMR are you?
Oh, look, I just learned how to do it.
I'll get just above the cave entrance and we'll start listening intently whether or not the creatures make noises.
Make a perception check.
Sure.
The wind is picking up. The trees are creaking and groaning. You hear nothing from the mouth of the cave.
The weather responds to me.
They call it their boss. Do Yetis usually have employees?
Well, I mean, they don't normally have an army of ogres either, so maybe.
What are we dealing with here? Should we expect some magic? Some...
Probably. What do you think? Should we venture in? Or would you rather wait a little bit?
What's the light situation?
It's getting
Outside?
dark.
God damn it. We'll be sitting ducks out here in the dark as well, and the cold. We walk
Vonine
in.
can summon lights. She had that very minor spell that she mentioned she had.
Would you like me to do it now? I can move it with us.
What do you say? Maybe we should venture in with that on our side.
Be very careful with traps. Clearly they're ambushing creatures.
Fuck.
On the camera, on the webcam, I saw your face, Mr. Death, suddenly. Get Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, I was fairly zoomed in on the entrance.
Do we head in then?
Looks like we do. Let's do this.
I'm gonna, just for exploration purposes, I'm gonna set the darkness to maximum for when we're inside.
I have no idea where I'm
See
at.
outside.
Yeah, you just...
Everyone stands in the bear trap. Yeah!
yeah, it's...
We just move the light. There it is.
First of all, can we hear anything within these caves? Any echoes, any...
Make me a perception check. You hear what you hear now, as well.
No, but or like, is there little bits of like ice where the ice snippets went?
Yeah.
God damn it, what's going on with you?
You do hear a slight grating, almost like vibration.
Coming from...
Down the corridors, both directions. It is not constant and consistent. It stops for a while and sometimes comes back.
We need to stick together.
We are using light anyway. I think I should have torches. Yeah, I will light a torch.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, I've lit a torch on you.
Anyone else getting like lag when I try and move? It's like freezing.
No.
No?
It is freezing, though.
Varius, stay in the center. Atticus, do you want to take the rear or should I?
Well, I'm fucking stuck, so either way.
Do you want to pause for a reload?
Well, I did just reload, although having said that, it just said connection reestablished, so maybe that was the problem. I'm just loading back in now.
Let me know when you're back in.
Did you know that Copper Coronet is a seedy dive bar whose regulars include smugglers and pirates?
Yes.
Okay, I can move. Cool.
I would like to do something I don't think I've done before. And hold on, sorry, DM. I'm just gonna.
Are you sending me a private communique? No, I've told you, no grenades. Yeah, I feel like that's within the limits of it. Yeah.
Celia kind of mutters a really, really low chime that translates to "I need you," and there's like a really amorphous, ethereal, kind of like shimmery form that is currently formless. And Sita's gonna give whatever this is. That it doesn't even look like it has any sort of mass. Obsidian. I mean, Atticus has seen this before. Obsidian would kind of see just like it's almost like you had to like squint to kind of see. There's like a little kind of like elongated figure, but it's almost not even here, or at least not here yet. But it must have some sort of like physicality because it can grab this torch, and it's going to sort of like move ahead of us, maybe like 10-15 feet.
Making me juggle so many separate little light sources here. My God.
Yeah.
Okay, let me. I'll have to put that in your channel. If this is something you're going to do more often, put it in your channel, and I'll make a dedicated little float. I think there is a float and animate torch.
Well, at some point you'll be able to put on it. What, yes.
But for now, I'll just do another dancing light, which I will give a status. And that's what, sort of 10-15 feet ahead?
Yes,
Okay.
It's not lighting up things. Or maybe it's my corner vision. That's what it must be.
It is lighting further down.
It's inside another light source, so it's... So yeah, it is working. But you don't have control over it yet because I've just thrown another... I'm winging it here.
Yeah. I mean, this torch almost has free will. So I'll guard the rear. I'm very much looking over my shoulder.
Let's go first.
No.
Do we want to go so close to each other? We know that there is at least one of those things floating around.
Well volunteered, Obsidian. Feel free to step ahead.
Obsidian will try to keep up. It doesn't matter with our light, I don't think. That's fine.
I hate this light juggling. And yeah, rounding a corner, Obsidian, the light casts a very sudden shadow against the wall of large, thick, pale webbing. Just as a chittering sound happens to come in on the audio track. Fantastic.
There's the prayer.
Bring that torch forward.
Is the webbing like sort of across the whole corridor, or is there a visible pathway still?
There's a visible pathway. As you'd be aware, these are canopy effects. Yeah, it's not like a wall that must be hacked through. It's just clinging. Mm-hmm. You can easily duck and move underneath.
And seemingly no beings in it.
You can't see any beings now. So looking at it, to pass through, it comes down enough weird strands, but I will be getting everybody to make a dexterity check to avoid brushing against any of it.
Sure. Yeah.
Did Atticus request it to be... Did he request the torch to come forward?
I was assuming we were going to want to burn the web.
Okay.
I'd keep an eye out for two things. Like, first, is the web specifically like huge, thick, and seemingly made by a larger creature? And are there any openings in the walls higher up that we would see?
With the torchlight behind you, give maybe a perception check, but with all the illumination down here, there's a bit of weird shadow play, but we could call it DC 8. In fact, no, do you know what? No, I'm just going to...
That's fine.
Yeah. You see there are... The web covers the walls heading further into the tunnel, but there are no obvious big fucking shell-ob pockets and holes in the walls ready to go.
Cool. Right. So dexterity
No
to pass.
obvious ones. Yeah.
Or do you want to burn it, Atticus?
I mean, I figured that would need to do it to get past, but if it's just above us, then not necessarily.
Yeah, I can. Dex, you want it?
Yes, it's going to be a DC 12 to avoid brushing against any of the web as you pass by.
Is it straight Dex or acrobatics or something? Dex, Dex check.
You can go acrobatics if you want. Yeah.
Well,
For the careful placement
That's
and
not
twisting and
that's not for me.
stuff.
Okay, I'm good. I think.
If you wait there a moment, Obsidian, while the others are coming through.
It's okay, yeah.
Atticus, some of it just clings to your pauldron and you shrug free of it and it's fine. Obsidian, make me a perception check, please. DC 12.
Mm-hmm. Yet another one.
As you hear a mild mutter from Atticus and sort of have your peripheral vision see him just sort of wrench himself free of it, you just see a few strands lining the corridor leading into the distance a little bit with him tugging against it.
I think this might be a lair of something else than our quarry.
Should we turn back then?
It might be best to check the other tunnel. We might have already alerted it to our presence.
You mean go back?
So be alert.
Okay.
Obsidian will keep an
Make me a
eye
dexterity check at Atticus.
on what's behind him.
Again, you see as he turns, Atticus had been stood on some web, and as he twists, it just yanks a bit more. And Obsidian, you see another. And as he steps away a moment later,
All
a
right,
few
yeah.
tremors.
Go. Go back.
Move!
Can my torch come running towards me, please? I feel like I'm about to get jump scared and I'm going to scream so hard.
Would I?
Yes, you would. I'm pretty sure you're looking forward to it too. Torch?
Fuck me, Gigi. You're very fucking needy when you know I'm juggling all these different tokens.
Sorry. Instead of bridges, I should have just made her have fear of the dark. That's like just so on brand. So that's not even role playing anymore. Okay. There's something up ahead. Some sort
What?
of. Oh dear. Oh dear. I'm assuming. This is a skeleton?
Yeah. It's not quite as skeletal as the art. It is very much a frozen corpse.
Can I... Are there possessions around like the map would indicate, or not really?
There's not a chest, but there is everything else.
She'll just kneel, sort of try to figure out what she sees in the torchlight.
So yeah, there is a. In fact, sorry, there also wouldn't be the sleeping bag. It is just like a body on the floor. They haven't tucked themselves up into bed. But there are like some possessions nearby. Dressed in adventuring clothes, basic sort of leathers, very, very frost-stiffed and ruined. Make me a medicine check as you're looking over this figure. So you see that their arm has a compound fracture. You see a lot of the forearm is just protruding from the elbow. And also in like the tight, sallow, sort of frost-rotten flesh, you see two large puncture marks in the neck and shoulder. One sort of on the side of the neck, the other one in the shoulder. Was bitten by fangs, but they were large fangs, spaced about a foot apart. And you see that, yeah, two punctures almost down to the skin. And even though the skin is like, as I mentioned, like sallow and tight, you see that it is blackened around the puncture marks.
Like necrotized?
Yes.
Do I know if Yetis have fangs?
Make me a nature check. DC 14.
You know what? I'm gonna use my inspiration from a recap ages ago.
Yeah, you take that inspiration off. You would know that Yetis have, as fearsome predators, they definitely have big incisors. They don't have what would be classed as fangs. Certainly not like venomous fangs.
There's something else here. This creature, it was bitten by powerful fangs. Maybe one of the spiders? There's necrosis around the puncture wound. Maybe some sort of venom or poison. Is there any personal belongings that would indicate this man's identity or woman?
Give me an investigation check. Oh, with a 17 as well, sorry. I would, I'd give to you that the features and that the bones are slightly heavier and larger. You would be confident that this was, in life, a Goliath.
Oh, crikey. Did you say investigation for the...
Yeah, for having a bit of a look. So there's a satchel, and in there is a small journal and two vials. One has a healing potion in, the other has cracked and lost whatever its contents are. Okay,
I'll grab the healing potion.
Yeah, you also find as you're patting down this figure inside their like trouser pocket, there is a small roll of silk, and inside it there is a single beautiful red feather.
Oh, like a bird's?
Yeah, larger though.
Definitely not keep that. I wouldn't be able to, like, not like mine.
No.
Maybe? No. Okay. Monkey taking the piss of me in the chat for for asking if it's a bird feather. Dude, you know, there's
it's a
only
fish
things
feather.
that have
Fish
feathers.
feather.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'll keep that. So healing potion and a red feather.
The journal, as you open it, appears to be written in like entry logs, but it is in a language you are not familiar with.
Most likely Goliath. What did Goliath speak?
Giant, I think.
Where is Obsidian? Let me check something on. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Do you do anything with that? Do you share it with your companions, or just make a cursory look and pocket it?
Actually, I'll ask. No. I'll ask. I mean, she's a scholar. She might be learned in languages, so I'm gonna pass the journal to her. This is written in some sort of strange language. I believe this man must have been a Goliath from his size and structure. Can you make sense of it?
No, this isn't a language I'm familiar with. Sorry.
Quite okay.
So, that means it isn't Elvish, and it isn't Dwarvish.
Right.
Or, although I'm not entirely conversant in it, nor is it Aquan. I'm learning Aquan.
I'm not really sure what kind of people speak Aquan, I'll be honest.
Oh, Sahagin, merfolk, water elementals, and spirits, and the such. Obsidian?
Obsidian? Can you make sense of this script?
It is not familiar to you.
No.
Right.
I am
Well,
keeping
keep
an
it.
eye out for if the creature leaves its lair.
Atticus, does this look familiar to you?
I was never really one for paying attention in class, so can't say it does.
But as you glance at it, Atticus, you realise that actually there is meaning for you in the script.
They don't know that.
Okay.
Are you keeping the diary or are you returning it to Siri?
I'll return it to Sire.
Well, perhaps we can find someone to interpret it and give an identity to this mystery man or Goliath.
Looks kind of familiar. The script, I mean.
It does?
Yeah, probably something that Dad mentioned once. We can look at it later. Come on, we've got things to do.
Oh. Yes. She... Sita is walking super carefully. Like super, super carefully.
Into this dead end.
Okay. There's...
Well,
It's just
looks
ice.
like it's not this way. It's a dead end. Looks like we're gonna have to go that way after all.
What was that first pocket? This here? Is it frozen
It's
water?
another dead end, isn't it?
Well, oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm moving Siri instead of Vanima. I do apologise. Let me just bring my fucking Fellowship of a Ring up after you. Yeah, it's another small sort of pocketed area. Make me a perception check as you step into this area, Obsidian. DC 18. Ain't no thing. He's just the master of not being in combat. So, Obsidian, as you're looking around here, the ice on the walls and on the floor, these multiple light spells hovering around behind you, and this torchlight dances and refracts off the light in an interesting way. And you become aware of a distortion of space and shadow through the ice. And you realize that part of the ice is actually concealing what looks to be a small, tight tunnel or shaft underneath. It's likely underwater if the ice was broken, but there seems to be some sort of underwater twisting passageway that leads from here beneath the ice.
Oh, but it is unbroken, right?
It is unbroken, yeah. You're noticing a thinner patch of ice, and then through the ice you can see a tunnel behind it.
There seems to be a passage here. But the little creature couldn't have possibly gone through.
I will check it with the mole. Just
When you
like,
say check it,
not hammering into it, just sort of knocking to see if maybe it's just an illusion of some sort.
it connects.
Mm-hmm.
There is the sound of mole testing on ice.
Could the method have frozen it after using it? I mean, they're creatures of the cold.
I do not know much about those.
I'll try breaking the ice, I suppose. See how it looks more clearly.
You swing the mole down, and the thing I wanted to happen did not. Let me just quickly change that. There you go.
What if it's iced on the other side? How will we get out?
No one is going in yet.
Why is this not doing what I wanted? Anyway, yeah, you smash a hole in it. And a hole should have opened up, but for some reason has not. Can I delete it and replace it? No, that's made things worse. Kaloo-kalay. Anyway, yes, you smash a hole in the ice, and a tunnel is now visible with chilly water drifting over the top.
So is it like filled with water, or is it you would have to wade in it? Or do you have to actually swim underwater?
You would have to swim and pull yourself through this pitch black underwater tunnel.
Does your light care for the water?
We'll ask Borneem.
Yes, that's no problem.
Good. Do we wish to seek out through the spider lair? Or do you want me to check this path?
I mean, I'd prefer to not go in there at all if we could possibly avoid it.
This might give us the chance to ambush the creatures.
You want to swim through a dark, icy tunnel
It won't be
to
dark if I get the light from Borneem.
into an unknown location.
I want to put the light inside the water and see how far it goes. Perhaps it is an impossibility. But just test.
I can do this. One moment. And Vaneem walks up and shifts the light, and it just zoop, goes into the water. The light obviously dims in here, but there's no point me doing that because there's another light source in there. But yeah, it moves. I can't get it any further without being able to see. But it's about 20. It's about 20 foot away.
Obsidian will put down the torch on the ground and sort of check the water.
It is unsurprisingly horribly cold.
And give it a dip to see whether or not he can see the light and maybe what it illuminates further down.
Yeah. So dipping your head under, after that moment where your
Oh,
chest catches, you see the light casting its ripple and pattern through the water. About 10 foot past it, you see there's clearly an upturn. And you see a little bit of light on wall that is not in water. You can see if it just passed the light, it turns back up and seems to leave water.
But Vorneem cannot get the light further, so that's a bit of a problem.
Not being able to see it.
But it is casting light like sort of through the ice visibly there.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Obsidian will just sort of duck and go.
Obsidian just bloop, out of sight. Obsidian, it is cold, horrifyingly cold. Your claws in the walls, pulling yourself a bit forward. There's that weird moment where you pass through the light spell, and there's a weird sense of this tiny mote of warmth through the freezing cold passes through you. And then, you turn up, and there's a horrible moment where you just see a sheet of ice. But as you push against it, it's weak, and you are able to sort of like just force it up. Nobody else knows what's happened.
Oh,
Well,
He was nice.
do we follow? Do we wait?
I think if he had reached some sort of dead end, he would have turned around and come back. He's a good swimmer. We saw that in the sewers.
yeah. I'll look around a little bit. Look especially towards the walls for any signs of webbing.
You see, from what you can see in here. Oh yeah, because actually, I apologize. You don't
I
see
do not have a torch now.
Yeah, you don't see shit, my guy.
So it's just a little bit of light around me, right?
Yeah, for some reason I can't actually turn. There we go.
I mean,
there
that's fine. I will
go.
I will just go for them anyway.
Yeah. So heading back.
Happy with not being speared immediately upon.
Yeah. I think that's a good place for us to leave our session tonight. As the others are about to follow through. In the darkness, about to follow through, as it were. But yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it for tonight. That was a good session.
But what did he see?
But what did he see?
Not much, to be honest.
Yeah, not much, only Strahd. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for playing. We will be back next week to find out what is in this cave. I think Siri has some idea based on her learnings. But yeah, we will be back next week. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you next time.